I'm kind of unsure of the series going forward here, because the next book is Gumdrop Angel, and that looks a little weird, like it maybe won't have much relevance to FNAF. So, I hope things turn around from here, but I don't know where the series is headed at this point. I don't know what's going on, and I hope it gets better. Gumdrop Angel is the best Fazbear Frights book.
What?
That's right. I said it. This book was somehow the best one. Let's talk about that. No, I did not just rip off Good Mythical Morning. You, shut up. You did. Yeah. Hello everyone, I am Inkyink, and today we are back with another Fazbear Frights ranking and review video. In the last episode, we reviewed The Cliffs and all the stories in it, you know, Cliffs, Breaking Wheel, and He Told Me Everything. You can see where they are right now. Anyways, today we have a brand new, on-time Fazbear Frights book, because I finished it in like 3 days, which is a lot faster than usual, so I can actually review it on time. So, that's right, Gumdrop Angel has released. At the end of the last video, after He Told Me Everything, and the other two stories being kind of alright. I mean, I put Cliffs pretty high, but I might move that down a little bit in a second. I did not really have high hopes for the series going forward. I felt like it was losing its spark. They were running out of ideas that were FNAF related, because Breaking Wheel and He Told Me Everything weren't really FNAF related at all. And I was very concerned about where the series could be going, especially with a cover like this, and then the new cover that they released with the cat with the weird face, which I just find funny instead of creepy. I was very concerned, but I got Gumdrop Angel, and oh boy, it is the best one. Now, does it have the best stories? No, the S tier is still pretty solid right now, but Gumdrop Angel, in my opinion, is the first Fazbear Frights story to consistently have 3 absolute bangers. The gaps between the Gumdrop Angel stories are going to be probably the smallest of all of them. But before we get into that, I'm just going to make a few small alterations to the tier list. So, The Cliffs. I like it a little less now that time has gone on. It was kind of a simple story. I liked it. But I think it's going to go, instead of almost the top of A tier, it's going to go to the bottom of A tier. I still like it. Breaking Wheel, I'm also going to move up, because that one I've liked a little bit more as time progressed. I'm going to move it up above 1:35 a.m. and New Kid, and I'm actually moving New Kid down to the top of C tier, I think. Because I just don't really like it as much. It's sort of a weird, moody, dark part of the series, and not in the usual way where it's like supposed to be like creepy. It was just kind of, I don't know, gives me bad vibes. That's a weird thing to say unironically in a book review. Without making this video any longer, let's get right into Gumdrop Angel. Now, Gumdrop Angel, of course, is the name of the first story in Gumdrop Angel, as they usually do. And it's about Angel, and she's an 18-year-old about to head off to college, but she's stuck with this pretty crappy family dynamic going on. And as I think Impulse Evan said in his review video, a lot of the characters are jerks. A lot of the main characters are jerks, but Angel is actually justified. Because the more we learn about the situation she's in, the more it feels justified. For example, she's got her mom, who only married the stepdad because of money. So she's only in it for that. She only cares about her own appearance, pretty much neglects Angel, even though she's her daughter, which is not cool. You got Ophelia, the little kid, the little 5-year-old, who's obviously a 5-year-old, so she's all running around being loud and obnoxious. She's sort of the least offender because she's just a kid. What's she gonna do? Not be a kid? No. And then we've got Myron. Myron is an absolute scumbag of a stepdad. And surprisingly, he's not even the worst one in the book. There's apparently a running stepdad theme in this one. Basically, Myron spoils Ophelia, and Angel, who wants to go to this, arts school, because she wants to be an actress, she can't get, like, she can't get money for it because Myron wants her to go to a real college, but this guy's filthy rich, and he spoils his other daughter, so the treatment's unfair, he's a bit of a hypocrite, and overall, a scummy guy. So, the story picks up at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which immediately saved it for me. I was like, weird candy girl? Right after he told me everything? I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but it starts off at Freddy's. That's how you start a FNAF story. Just put it in the restaurant. And this story really just develops the scumminess of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is amazing to see. So basically, Angel is at Ophelia's birthday party, and she doesn't want to be there. Everything's loud, obnoxious. Ophelia likes horses. But anyways, Angel's having problems with the family, you know? As you do in this situation. And eventually, Ophelia is a little clumsy, and tries to give her some pizza, but it ends up, like, getting on Angel's hair and her shirt, and so she's all mad. She gets up, go clean it off, and basically, she meets this guy, this Freddy Fazbear's Pizza employee, Dominic, and this guy is the Chad, but not in a bad way. He's like the cool guy. He's a nice dude. And Angel immediately sort of feels a connection with him. There's a vibe going on. There's a, what am I doing? Basically, they like each other, is what I'm saying. After a little chat, Dominic takes her to this other room, gives her, like, just cleans her off a bit. Everything is pretty cool again. They exchange numbers and Shakespeare references because of Ophelia. And basically, Dominic heads out, but they're gonna talk later and maybe set up a date. And you're like, great job, guys. That's pretty cool. I don't know what is this weird mood I'm in, like, good for entertaining content? Because I'm feeling like a talk show host or a game show host. I'm feeling like a host. That's not relevant at all to the story. Let's continue. Angel goes back. They're like, where were you idiot? And it's like, well, cleaning up, you know, because the kid spilled the pizza. And basically, after there's a big stage performance with the animatronics, you know, it's Freddy's, you gotta have that, it's a nice touch. There's like this interesting birthday mini-game, you could say, where this announcer guy's like, hey, step around, kids. We're gonna lower a candy person from the ceiling who's absolutely 100% made of candy and not real. Don't worry about it. It cannot feel pain. It cannot scream. It will not be moving as you devour it alive. Come around, kids. We're gonna do this birthday moment. Am I right? So they gather the kids around. Ophelia gets to take the first and the last bite, gets to bite off the toe of the thing, and then gets the gumdrop nose. And Angel, like, sort of watches the thing get lowered down, and it's all like, no, it's really not like that. I'm really extra today. Basically, it's wiggling, and it's like, and she was like, oh, there must be, like, animatronic parts inside it. But then she assumed that they would stop when the kids get close, but it doesn't, and, like, it was like, and she's like, oh, okay. It's weird that they have the parts still moving, and the candy kid gets ripped apart, and Ophelia gets the last little gumdrop nose, and instead of eating it, she just sort of like, you know, I'm kind of full. I'm only 5. My stomach's probably like the size of a postage stamp. I just combined two things. Like a post-it note. I'm gonna save this for later. And the announcer guy's like, oh, good. All right, everybody. Let's just sort of vibe for a while. And that's pretty much the end of that. They head out, and Myron announces that there's still another birthday surprise. And Angel's like, you gotta be kidding me. We've been here all day. It's her birthday. Why are we out here doing so much? They head over to a ranch. And Angel is like, kill me now. But that's not gonna happen yet. And Myron, full on, buys the 5-year-old child a pony. And you're already like, Pony? Did you say that correctly, YouTuber Inkyink? Yes! Yes, I did. A pony. But wait! There's more! Because he buys her a pony and a regular horse that's gonna grow up with her. And Angel is not having it. She does the math. She does the big brain calculations. And that's costing a lot of money a year. It was like $7,000 or $14,000 a year to maintain that kind of stuff. And yet Myron, scumbag hairy man Myron, won't pay for her college. But she's like, it's fine. Because pre-Myron, we were pretty poor, the bank is giving me a full scholarship. So she's still vibing with that. She's just kind of mad at the birthday vibes, the annoyance, and the fact that there's a pony now. She talks with this other girl who works at the ranch, and they sort of like talk about it like, yeah, family kind of sucks. Your family, not mine. Your family kind of sucks. And Angel's like, yep, that's true. So they head on home, and everybody's settling down, heading to bed, and Angel gets on the phone with Dominic, and they're vibing, they're having a nice chat, and then Myron comes on the phone like, I can hear you, this is my phone line! Who is this lad? Who is boy? Why his phone number? And Angel's like, chill, this is my phone number too. Just because I gave him the home phone doesn't mean you have complete control over it. It's my house, I have complete control over the home phone. Well, you don't even buy me a regular phone, so what am I gonna do? You're going to hang up the phone immediately. And so the conversation gets cut off. Myron comes on downstairs, and apparently there's a letter from the bank. Oh no, whatever could this mean? Basically, the bank has updated their thingy and sees that Angel is now richer, so they took back the scholarship, and Angel is done. It is over for her. She's gonna be trapped with this family that neglects her and spoils the other sister right in front of her. So, justifiably, understandably, she's a little upset. Oh boy, I wonder why. And basically, after a big fight, she storms upstairs, steals the Gumdrop nose from the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, and she eats it to spite Ophelia. Which, you kind of feel a little bad for her, because, it's just this 5-year-old, she tried to share the pizza earlier, and now she just got her candy, stolen. So she's all crying and stuff. Angel zooms on into the bedroom, locks the door, and pretty much goes to sleep. But she wakes up, and it's like, uh-oh, something's wrong. And her skin is all, starting to turn red, pinkish, splotchy. And she's like, oh, that's bad. That's some kind of rash. Let's try and get it off. So she tries to get it off, a few times, a few showers, some scrubbing. But it keeps spreading. And she's panicking. She is absolutely panicking. She's wondering if it was something at Freddy's that contaminated her or something. Eventually, she works her way back around to the Gumdrop nose thing once she starts, growing candy on her skin. And so, obviously, she's a bit upset. If you're turning into candy, you'd probably be upset too. She calls up Dominic, and he's all like, oh no, seriously, no, okay, come to Freddy's, I'll help you out, And she's like, oh, thank you. So she drives on over, she's sort of turning to goop as she's going, and she gets there, and Dominic is there, and he's crying, because he doesn't want to do what he's about to do, because he has to, because he is a Freddy's employee. So, he says it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay. He puts her in a box. She goes to sleep. And when she wakes up, she is being lowered to a crowd of hungry children. The end! Uplifting story, isn't it, guys? Well, speaking of uplifting, I'm just gonna say, this is an A-tier story. FNAF relevance, pretty high. It was at Freddy's. Characters, good. Relatable protagonist, not really. It's not like my family's like that. But understandable protagonist, decisions. Concise, not too long, not dragged out, not a lot of filler. Better than Blackbird. I think it's better, yeah. let's put it in A tier, right behind Fetch, because it's just going to be a running thing that, like, Fetch doesn't get beaten. Now, I've kind of been dragging this out too long, so the other two might not get quite as much attention. Sorry about that, but we're going to speed right into Sergio's Lucky Day. Sergio, I'm going to say Sergio, I guess. This is the story of a man who had everything, and then lost everything, and then had everything again, and then lost pretty much everything else, and himself. Sound good? Alright, good, we're on the same page. So Sergio is obsessed with success, rising the ladder, because his parents are like entrepreneurs, they're doing things, they're vibing, they're rich, and he's a successful guy. He's kind of short, not all that great looking, he thinks, but he's got a girlfriend. He just got a new position at his architectural office thing, and he's aiming for the top. He's going up, but he's never satisfied. So he gets a new position at his job, and everything's looking nice, but then the job starts, like, piling up, because the reason the job became open is because the other guy quit, and you can see why, because it's a ton of work. So there's a big celebration to celebrate his promotion with his girlfriend Violet, and she ends up being like a bit suspicious, you know. She's all flirty with everybody, even though she's dating him, and she's kind of obnoxious and a tad selfish. But he always just sort of lies to go along with it, to agree with her. So it's not all on her. He's got his problems too. And basically, he starts working himself to the bone over the next days, and he is not having a fun time. And things pile up, and eventually it all culminates when his car pretty much breaks down in the middle of the pouring rain. And he's like, well, there's a gas station just down the road. Might as well head over there. And so he walks over, but then he sees, what's that? There's a thing. What could that be? Let's pick it up. What is this? It is Small Balloon Boy. Yes, Balloon Boy from the hit game Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But he's got a little bit of a rebrand. He's a bit smaller, but he looks the same, but instead of balloons on his little sign, he's got, I'm a Lucky Boy. So, we've got Lucky Boy. So we got Sergio, Lucky Boy. Dynamic duo. They start talking to each other. Yes, that is weird. No, don't question it. There's like these automated responses, but they're kind of a little too specific to be automated. They head on over to the gas station, and Lucky Boy is like, psst, hey buddy, why don't you try the lottery? It's gonna be your lucky day. And Sergio's like, okay, why the heck not? And he takes the lottery ticket, and the next day, boom, he wins the lottery. And he's like, Lucky Boy, you're a cool lad. Thanks for the help, my boy. And Lucky Boy is all like, you deserve great things. You deserve awesome things. You're the best, man. And he's like, I like this kid. And so he goes out, buys a new car. And Violet's like, what did you get me? And he's like, bye. And so he dodges that one. His car gets stolen, which is a little, like, oh, maybe the luck is being weird. What's going on here? Over the next few days, he's making some strange investments, getting lots of big, fancy stuff. He's avoiding his neighbor, who's like, you want my cookies? You want cookies, child? And his upstairs neighbor, who's dancing like crazy. She's not really relevant. I don't know what's up with her. But eventually, he decides to break up with Violet, and she's all like, angry. I was gonna do some kind of bit there, but I just had no idea. She was angry, that's pretty much it. And he remembers, like, this girl he liked from high school, and Lucky Boy's like, you deserve great things. And he's like, okay, I should find someone who's like her. But then he's also like, I want a new house. I want to start my own business, because my work at the place is kind of rough, you know? So he quits his job. Everyone's like, what? Why? And they're all mad, and he's like, lottery. I'm making my own stuff now, boys. So then he sort of starts flirting with the real estate person, Claire, I think her name is, and they start dating. He's trying to renovate this big warehouse into a home/workplace, and everything seems to be going nicely until they don't. And he liked Claire until he didn't. And that's like sort of how they put it in the book as well. I quoted it. Isn't that cool, guys? I read. Basically, he starts being all suspicious and cynical of everything she does. Like, he thinks she's trying to change him and, like, subtly suggest that she doesn't like certain things that he does, but he starts, like, sort of reading too much into everything, and the budget starts getting cramped, things start messing up. He plans on breaking up with Claire, but his parents are like, let's meet Claire, and he's like, okay, I'll just break up with her after that date. So they head over, there's some parental filler stuff, not really filler, I mean, he asks for a loan from his dad, he gives it to him, but he's gotta pay it back quick. And basically the night goes well, but then on their way home, he says, I'm not gonna date you anymore, and she's like, what the heck? And then they go like a whole big argument. He goes like, you're trying to change me and not satisfied with who I am, trying to get me to do things. And she's like, you talk to a freaking plastic doll for your advice. It's kind of creepy, man. And he's like, you dare insult a lucky boy? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna toss him out the window. So she tries to do that, but she's about to throw him out, but then boom, car crash. They're alive, but she is all mad, very mad, and she's like, I'm gonna sue you. And so now Sergio is in a tough place. He goes home, he's like, you know, the women, they're just not good enough like that one girl in high school. I should find her instead. Yes, let's do that. There's a high school reunion in just a little bit. But wait, oh no, I'm short and I'm a little weird. I've got, like, you don't like my facial features and stuff. What do I do, Lucky Boy? And Lucky Boy is like, you can cut off your nose. Great idea! Cut off your ears. You could, you know, chop off some of the belly fat. You know, add it to your legs, make yourself taller. And he's like, why didn't I think of this sooner? You're a genius! And so he's lost it, basically. So he gets some power tools, and then it cuts to the party. Basically, he opens the door and they're all like, what is that thing? But he's all like, huh, what's going on? Is there something behind me? And he sees like this trail of pinkness and blood and everything, and he's like, what the heck? Ah, these buffoons, they don't clean their carpets. How did I not notice that? And he notices it at his feet as well, and he's like, oh, it got on my shoes. What the heck? Come on, guys, this is bad. Alright, now let me go find my high school crush. And that's how it ends. So obviously it's implied that he messed himself up pretty bad, and Lucky Boy sort of had full control, which is strange, obviously. This was a good story. I liked it. It was very interesting. Do I like it more than Gumdrop Angel? I don't think so. Do I like it more than To Be Beautiful? It's actually a pretty similar concept. It's kind of like To Be Beautiful 2, in a way, which is kind of cool, you know? So, I think it's just going to be behind To Be Beautiful, just because To Be Beautiful was the original, it was nuanced, it was sort of its own thing. And we've got sort of a spin-off duo, spin-off sequel with Sergio and Balloon Boy, but doesn't make it a worse story. I genuinely liked it. Now, we're running a little long here, and I apologize for that. Please comment if you're still watching, I appreciate it very much. But for the final story, we've got What We Found. Now, this one is a really cool one, and it got me right away because this one straight up is FNAF 3. This one takes place at Fazbear's Fright, not to be confused with Fazbear Frights, even though the book kind of makes a typo at one point. That sort of... anyways, you got Hudson, and Hudson is kind of creeped out by Fazbear Frights. Fazbear's Fright. See, even I messed it up. But he works there. He's the guard. You know, kind of like Michael. You know, there's a bit of a parallel thing going on there. And I'm not a big parallel guy, but I can't deny that there is a Michael parallel involved in here, and you'll see. Basically, he's with his buddies Barry and Dwayne. And Dwayne, by the way, I'm just sort of headcanoning that he's Phone Dude from FNAF 3, because their personalities are very similar, and it just makes a lot of sense. Even though it's two different universes and all. They're setting up Fazbear's Fright, and Hudson doesn't like it. The other two are like, it's a job, we're doing the thing. And Hudson, he had a tough time landing this job, and he's had a tough time getting jobs, because, as you find out, he had a very abusive stepdad named Lewis, and he and his mom mysteriously died in a fire, and Hudson was the one who survived, and he is suspected of it, and it's on his record, and nobody wants to hire him. everybody in the town sort of looks down on him, except for the homies, the buddies. And basically he has life pretty rough, because he's getting some decent pay for this job, but it's taken up a lot of time, so he doesn't have a lot of time to himself, not being all that healthy. And he tried to go out with this fellow employee that he liked, and they went on a date, and it was good, but then she called him up like, "Did you do it?" And he's like, "What do you think?" Hangs up, and they're done. Probably not the best thing to say, because then you just pretty much left it up for her to decide. And obviously if the whole town suspects you of being an arsonist, that won't go over well with your relationships. Just a bit of a tip for anyone out there. He's all mad. He's having a tough life, basically. And he doesn't like Fazbear's Fright. It's creepy. It does all the creepy things. And there's a little bit of setup / filler in there. Not really filler, more setup than filler. And eventually, it gets to the big FNAF 3 moment. We found one. A real one, you know, the FNAF 3 line. Because they bring in the springy boy himself, William Afton Springtrap the Lad. He goes and visits his grandma, who's like, "You should quit that job. I'm getting the vibes." She's got like voodoo stuff, and she's all creepy, and she's like, "I'm getting the vibes. You gotta quit your job. Things are not gonna go well." And he's like, "But Grandma, it pays. I have no other option." And so he goes in for what he doesn't know is going to be his last night on the job. Things are vibing until he goes to the Springtrap, and he investigates it a little, and suddenly it speaks to him, but in the voice of his old angry math teacher in his head. And it's like, "You're stupid, buddy. You're stupid." And he's all like, "Oh no, not this again. I'm not in school anymore." Pretty much what ensues after that, it's a little fuzzy for me, because a lot of it sort of blended together, but basically a nightmare fuel trip through Fazbear's Fright. Fueled by his hallucinations of his past, and what I can assume is Springtrap and probably some ghosts in the area as well. Basically, everything is coming to life, though the heads on the walls are all like, making all weird noises. There's hooks and arms everywhere, trying to grab him. He tries to chase Springtrap through the vents, but just gets he gets encounters with other things. He gets flashbacks to getting bullied, which some people have been pointing out as a Mike victim parallel, but I don't think so, because bullying is a pretty common character trait. Basically, he's going through, trying to figure out what's going on. He had his nightstick, he had a hammer, gradually loses those weapons, eventually gets a knife, ends up peeing himself, kind of unrelated, but he ends up having a big final showdown with Springtrap as he's coming at him, and he just starts swinging, and he's like, but then he gets slashed in the arm, and he's bleeding, and he was hit in the head earlier. He used all the first aid on that, and basically he is not doing well. But then he sort of snaps back to reality, and his hand is bloody, and he's like, "Oh, come on, I did not just slash myself in the arm with a knife, and my wrist is broken." So basically he's in a lot of pain, and so he tries to get out, but he can't. And then he thinks back to what his grandma said. Fire purges. It's like it gets rid of all the bad stuff. And so he's like, "Yeah, I'll just go in the kitchen and like the fire stuff, I'll be safe there." And so he goes over there. He gets into the oven for some reason, he's in a bit of a delirious state, and he just sort of waits there. But then to his horror, it starts to turn on. He tries to get out, but it's no use. How the oven turned on, who knows? It cuts to the other lads coming in the next day, and they're like, "What's that weird smell? Let's go check out where it is. I wonder where Hudson is. He'd kind of be here right now." And then it sort of ends with them going into the kitchen. It doesn't have the reactions or anything, but they go in. So, what we found is an S-tier story. It's pretty much what you would expect from a FNAF story. It's going to be above the real Jake. It's going to be on par with these big three. These big lads. Coming Home, Man in Room 1280, and What We Found. It is crazy good. It is the FNAF story. It's got a good protagonist with a dark past and some problems, and it fully encapsulates the animatronic and hallucinogenic horror of the series. And it's grim and it's interesting, and there's a lot of mystery that gets unveiled over time. Hudson pretty much did start the fire at his house all those years ago, but suppressed the memory. So, a nice little triangle thing here. We got Gumdrop Angel and Sergio's Lucky Day in A tier, and What We Found in S tier. Now, obviously, the epilogues I don't rank, but Epilogue 8 was a pretty good one. I will say that, given some more relevance to the ball pit, and Jake as sort of a vigilante hero, almost. So that's Gumdrop Angel. 3 consistently great stories, which is the first time in the series, for me, in my opinion. So I think Gumdrop Angel is the best volume. It was just really, really good, and it has absolutely restored my faith in the series. Now, obviously, you can disagree with my list. I know a lot of people do. But if you enjoyed this ranking video, please splash the link onto the like button, consider subscribing, share this video with a friend. I could really do with some more reach, some more audience members, especially because I've been really extra today for some reason. Leave a comment on your opinions and maybe join the Discord, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!